Hey Joe here at Fort Belvoir Range, doing part one of the Mathews HTR review. Got 4 parts to this video series. We've got an Elite E32 over here. Both of these bows are set at 71.6 pounds, 28-inch draw. Got a Mathews Q80 rest on here. HHA single pin sight. I think you've seen just about everything else online about the review about this bow. I have no stabilizer on this bow. It shoots very well, it's very smooth, but I want to do some tests for you and see how it turns out. So go ahead and put it on the scale here. About 71.6, hard to see, but okay. E32, I know this isn't the Synergy, but it's still a very smooth bow. 20-inch draw bow. Okay. Now, here's something I want to show you, which is kind of interesting. One of the shop owners over here at Hoffman Archery in Virginia showed me. So take a look at the poundage rating. I'm going to just drop this down, I don't know, 8 to 10 inches. And I want you to see, for those people that say that the Mathews bow is harder to draw back than the Elites, let's see if we can just show you how that goes right now. See at the poundage. So we'll drop this down about, I don't know, right about to that notch in the wall. And let's see, about the same size. What's that, about 65? 65 pounds. Okay. Now, I want to show you just about the same distance. Obviously, this isn't an exact science, but bring it down. Okay, so about 55 pounds. Okay, for about the same distance. All right, so you're talking about the beginning of the draw cycle, you know, almost a 10-pound difference between the two bows. And I own this bow. I love the Elite E32. I'm not trading it in, I'm not selling it. I'm just telling you, there's people out there that say it's harder to draw than an Elite. I'm not sure where you're getting that, but feel free to post it on Archery Talk after we do the review. So, come on over here. E32 right here. So, these guys are here. What's your guys' name?
Colton. Sean.
Colton and Sean. I just met them tonight. This isn't the setup. Assume you guys are active duty?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm active duty as well. And we're just here doing the review. They were here showing up, shooting a Barnett crossbow and a G5 West bow. And they're just here having a good time. And you know, Colton asked if we had the, you know, if this was the brand new no cam, and I said yeah. So what do you guys think? Initial impressions? What do you think of the noise level of the bow?
Extremely quiet compared to his G5.
I think it's a pretty quiet bow.
I think I heard a mouse fart.
It is a very quiet bow. I think you guys have seen me shoot here. I'm not a golden boy of archery by any means, but what do you think? It shoots quiet.
It's very accurate. If you could put a suppressor on a bow, it would be that bow right there.
That's it. So if you could put a suppressor on a bow, I don't know if you heard that, this would be the bow with the suppressor on it, the silencer on the bow, not just these silencers, but very quiet. Accuracy, you guys saw me shoot.
Extremely accurate.
You know, I think we played around and picked a piece of paper up on the board and shot it. You'll see part 2 or 3 of the video chain that I have that shows out to 60 yards, and you'll see the accuracy. These guys aren't lying about it. So we walk over here and paper tune real quick. Guys, if you want to hang out for just a minute, I'll be right back. So here's the one thing I'll tell you about this bow. I have been, you know, I like to tune a lot of bows. I know how to yoke tune Hoyts. And by the way, this is the first Mathews I've owned since I had an LX, and I had a Z7, not a Z7 Extreme. I liked the Chill series. In fact, I just picked up a Chill X Pro, but I didn't think it was as great as the no cam. I know there's a lot of people out there that love them. It's a great, you know, Chill series was the smoothest bow, but a lot of people are asking Mathews to come out with, you know, something innovative. I think they've done that. If you don't believe me, please go and see Nuts and Bolts post, Alan's posts on Archery Talk about the no cam and its technology. He's an engineer by trade. He'll tell you a lot more about it. If you could do a close-up on the rest. If you can see, the rest with the arrow is directly in the middle, okay? And I know that this may not be maybe by spec. I don't pay attention to the specs. I pay attention to first what gets me a bullet hole, and second what gets me bare shaft tuned. The bare shafts with this bow are hitting right with my regular fletched arrows at 25 yards, which is pretty good. And this just happens to be where it tunes. You know, please don't blow me up saying I'm torquing the bow, I'm doing this, that, and the other. Otherwise, I would have it set different. If you look down the bow and you look down the arrow and you line up the cams, cam to string to arrow, it's directly where it should be. Okay. And this bow does, once you get it good, tune nice. Let's see if I make sure I don't screw this up for you, but just to show you where it's at. You do a close-up on that. That's about as good as a bullet hole gets with an arrow. So I'm shooting an Easton Axis 340 at 402 grains. So, and I can, unlike the rest of my bows that I have, what's weird about it is you can, you know, and I think Shane on Target 7 will tell you, you can kind of twist your hand different ways on a bow and get it to tune all over the place, where, you know, sometimes the arrow kick right, kick left, depending on how much hand torque. I've got no stabilizer on this thing, and I mean, how much easier is it than putting it right in the middle line on the rest and going with it? And it may not look, if you look down the bow and try to line it up with the bottom and the top and the string, like a lot of people do, to the arrow, it's going to look like it's going right. I'm just telling you, it tunes perfectly like this, and the bare shafts match my fletched arrows. So, come back here and we'll shoot it a little bit. Like I said, it's consistently, no matter where you put it in the draw cycle, for the most part, against the E32. And this is not saying the E32 is a bad bow. It's just saying that it's considered to be one of the smoother bows out there, and it's consistently easier to draw back at the same poundage as the E32. So, and I say that because you hear a lot of people on the forums talking about, oh, it's a harsh draw, it's this, it's that. I just don't think it is. And you guys drew it back. What do you think? It was pretty smooth?
Very smooth.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I said, we just met tonight. That's why I wanted him to hang around, because it's important that you get people who are willing to give reviews that don't have any allegiance to Mathews or Hoyt or Elite, and don't have any agenda. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot it, just give you my impression. Let's see. Go ahead and shoot at that blue piece of paper right there. This is 25 yards. And give you my impression. I'm going to try to pull it back really slow. If you look later on in the video and you look at my draw when I'm pulling this back in my man cave at my house, when I draw it back against the E32, you definitely see where the E32 breaks and drops into that kind of hump, that nice back wall that E32s are known for. This, if you'll, kind of look at it and really eyeball it, will come back absolutely smooth all the way back. And you hear people talk about this bow online that have done reviews. The only thing that can surmise it and summarize the whole draw cycle is it's different. It's just different. I think it's different because it's not what people are used to shooting. Since it's smooth all the way back. I've heard, oh, it's got this huge hump. I don't think it has a huge hump. I think it loads nice into the back wall and it drops off in the draw force curve. But for the most part, if I dropped it down to 60 pounds, you'd probably feel it was just totally smooth all the way back. So I'll try to do it real slow and bring it back and see how we can, I'll go ahead and move over a little bit. Try to shoot it sideways here. Probably add a little range, so I may not hit the target very well, but try to pull it back really, really slow and let you, get an understanding of how smooth it is. Okay, and this is 71.6 pounds. Okay, so let's go up and look at that. I think I know what the results are, and I'm not a a big professional archer by any means, but that's kind of what you get. It shoots really nice, and like I said, my bear shafts, I think last night when I was tuning it in, I think these two holes right here were where the bear shaft and the regular shaft hit. All I can give you is my word. I think is there another hole right here. I didn't have it really tuned into the X, shaking a little bit, but I think what's different is that what I found out was as soon as I paper tuned it, I figured I would have to mess around with something to get the bear shaft tuned. I didn't. It as soon as I paper tuned it and it shot a bullet, the bear shaft shot exactly with the fletched, which, as you guys that yoke tune on Hoyts, that usually doesn't happen. You usually have to take a twist out of this, twist out of the right, and then twist out of the left. Go back and forth, get the cam lean out a little bit. Obviously, the cam lean is minimized on this bow. So I think it's tremendously smooth. It's tremendously quiet. I think it's good and accurate. I could shoot another arrow for you, but I have another segment that shows the accuracy out from this to 60 yards. That's what I practice to, but I'm by no means, I've probably shoot on average in a hunter class, maybe 220. I'm not great by any means, but there's guys here at the archery place that are way better than me. I like the bow a lot, and I'm trying to dispel some of the rumors about it. I think that there's a lot of people out there that don't like Mathews just because it's Mathews. I don't think that's fair. I think Mathews has gone out of their way to prove that they have something innovative here. Last but not least, kind of a shameless plug for one of the places I frequent out here, Hoffman Archery. He went out of his way to pre-order a bunch of these bows when they first came out, and I believe he's still got about 40 of them in stock. I like this bow so much, I just bought a second one in snow camo. You'll see this on the video later on. That's not to brag, that's just to say that I don't usually invest in more than one high-end bow like this and spend the kind of money that they cost unless I'm impressed by a bow. And I'm a color freak too, so I think the fit and finish on this bow is awesome. And again, I didn't cover a lot of the things that I think some people cover in these bow reviews just because, well, everybody can do a close-up on the fit finish, everybody can look at the wheel, everybody can look at the draw and all that stuff, but some of the things like, the E32 knowledge about, the E32 or the Synergy or whatever being very, very smooth and very easy to draw back, that's all true. But to have 10 pounds lighter of a draw with the same ultimate weight bow of a 71.6 pound bow like this, is pretty amazing. That tells me at the beginning of the draw cycle, it's much easier to pull back. I think it's going to be different for people just because they don't get that oblong feel of a cam coming back. But it's very accurate. I'll be taking in the woods with me this year. Go see Farron or Carl or any of the other guys at Hoffman Archery out in Warrington, Virginia. Like I said, he's still, I think everybody else is 7 to 10 weeks out on this bow. High demand for this bow. But he has ones in stock right now because he was smart enough to pre-order them. And those guys, the shop is always filled. They're very professional. They're very honest. They're very upfront. They're not there to sell you a bow. They want to make sure that you're happy about what you get. And I wanted to make sure that I push his business. He didn't ask me to do this. I wanted to do the review alone. And he wanted to make sure that when I did the review, I did it on my own so that it wouldn't be like he was biased about it, because he is a Mathews dealer and he likes to shoot Mathews. So I got to give him the double thumbs up for honesty on that one, because he could have done it himself. He could have had me do the video there, and he didn't. So anyway, love this bow. You guys think it's a winner?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great bow. So it's Joe signing off. We'll have a couple more video segments. I'll shoot it at the range at 60 yards, just a couple arrows, just to let you know how quiet it is and how it shoots. I shoot 4 different arrows in the man cave at my house. I have a chrono there and a target. I weigh the arrows, shoot the arrows, show you what the chronoed speeds are, and here's the bottom line with that video. This bow is only 3 to 5 seconds, feet per second slower than my E32, which is right over there. And so if you've got a 350 or 360 IBO bow, maybe a Bowtech or something like that that shoots really fast, Carbon Spider Turbo, what is it, XT or whatever this year, and you compare it to, and you say Mathews is a slow bow, okay, all right, maybe you can say that, but compared to an E32, which I think is a great hunting bow, you know, I think with this arrow, if I remember right, I was shooting, it's a 402 grain arrow, 340, Easton Axis, kind of a common hunting weight. I was going 277 feet per second, I think, 277, 278 feet per second, and my Elite E32 was 281 and 282 respectively. So 3 to 5 feet per second slower than my E32. I don't care. This is the quietest bow I've ever shot in my life, bar none. These guys can attest to it. I've shot these both tonight. They've heard them both tonight. They're both accurate bows. It's not a bash on Elite at all. It's just a comparison of a bow that I think is great. I own 2 of those bows, and so I really like them, and I'm not getting rid of them. But you know, this Mathews has done a great deal this year, and I think it's only fair that they get the credit where credit's deserved. So that's about it. Joe signing off. Have a great night. Hope the video is informative. I go by Mr. Roberts on the forums, and feel free to shoot me a PM or ask me a question if anything you want to talk about this bow or anything else. Thanks.